Hey everybody, and welcome back to Ritual Emotions, RMTV's weekly download. I am your host, Dana Paul. Happy June and happy Pride Month. We are so excited and honored to have Jared Lucas, who is the executive director of the Stonewall Foundation, with us to talk about the Stonewall Foundation and talk about our collaborative that we have going on with them playing for Pride. As always, we'll have our very own Jamie that'll fill us in on things going on in the whole world of esports. I know he has something going on with Blizzard Sport this week, and I also know he has something going on with Call of Duty. But right now, I can't wait, and I'm honored to introduce you to Jared. Jared, welcome to the show.
Really glad to be here, Dana.
Thanks. Jared, I know our community, if you don't mind, just kind of giving us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, I am a lot of things. I count myself as an engineer. A lot of people don't necessarily associate running a foundation with having a STEM background, but I am really passionate about math and science. I'm coming out as a nerd here, I suppose. I studied engineering and think about my work in the LGBTQ community and just for social justice more broadly as social engineering. I am a son and a brother and a grandson and a best friend. I'm from Philadelphia originally. I was raised in Mexico though, in a city called Puebla, and have lived lots of places. I'm a traveler. I think that a lot of my experiences with other cultures and in other places informs my desire to see communities, people come together. And so at Stonewall, I get to live and breathe that mission every single day. And yeah, I think like a lot of LGBTQ people who come into this realm of work, and not just LGBTQ people, I think everyone who lands in mission-driven work has a reason or many reasons. And for me, a lot of that is rooted in my experiences as a queer person. I grew up in a really religious household. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, which I endearingly sometimes and sometimes casually just refer to as being a J-dub, a former J-dub. And for me, that experience was one that really put my queerness front and center in my humanity. I was told from a really early age that it wasn't okay to be what I knew myself to be and what I was beginning to understand myself to be. And so my journey, unfortunately, led to being kicked out. I came out when I was 14 to my grandparents who were raising me, and they pretty summarily showed me to the door. And that happens to a lot of youth, unfortunately, when they're honest about their gender identity, their sexual orientation. And for me, you know, the path to surviving that trauma, surviving that struggle led me to really appreciating the role that nonprofits can play in intervening when people's lives take control of themselves, right? And for me, nonprofits have been my lifeline. They've been my love affair. And at Stonewall Community Foundation, I get to serve a lot of different nonprofits, and by extension, a lot of different people who benefit from the work and services and advocacy of those organizations.
So Jared, as you said, Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. Quick question. Quick question. Do you have a favorite, Pat's or Geno's?
Neither. No. Any Philadelphian worth their school cool punch, their salt, will tell you pretty quickly that it is neither Pat's nor Geno's. I could name 10 places, gyms on South Street, Ishkabibbles. There's lots of places you can go for a damn good cheesesteak.
And I'm gonna agree. I've been to gyms and it's pretty amazing. But you know what? If you don't mind right now, what I think would be really great for the community to know is just, can you give a little bit of a history on Stonewall and the Stonewall Foundation?
Sure. So our namesake, Stonewall, it feels like the best starting place. In 1969, actually, about a month from now, we'll be celebrating the 51st anniversary of this occasion. But in 1969, in the high heat of June summer in New York, a group of patrons at the Stonewall Inn, which was a popular mob-run destination for a lot of LGBTQ people, a lot of social outcasts. It was rated, as it commonly was, by the New York City Police Department. And on this particular night, the patrons had it, and they started a riot. And that riot went on for days. Between 5 and 6 days, the rioting continued. And it wasn't the matter that folks were fighting back, because that actually had happened before, but there was something special in this moment, and that the struggle was sustained for such a long period of time, but I think in that actually reflective of a change in our people, a change in our mindset. It was no longer acceptable to say it's okay to be subject to police abuse, to be told that we can't exist, that we can't share space, that we can't celebrate who we are, that we can't be in community with one another. And so as the modern LGBTQ movement is perceived today, Stonewall, the riots that started at the Stonewall Inn, that uprising is recognized globally as the genesis of what we see as our modern movement. And so there are lots of organizations whose missions and some whose names honor that moment in time and honor the spirit of that rebellion. And I'm proud to say that Stonewall Community Foundation is one of them. Our work is a bit different in that we focus very broadly on all of the possible needs that our community has. And I'll talk more about that. But the way we move the needle in the lives of our people is through philanthropy, this idea that love is a practice, that love and action is what makes a difference. And so very often that looks like us raising money and investing that money in organizations and projects and campaigns and leaders who are showing up for LGBTQ causes. And that work got its start in the 1980s, the late 1980s, amid the AIDS crisis in New York City. Today, right now, amid this pandemic, we're seeing a lot of people create, in terms of mutual aid networks, right? This idea that we have to take care of ourselves, that neighborhoods, that communities can look to one another to find support and fuel survival and thrive, even in really, really difficult times. And in the late 80s, that was the case for LGBTQ people here in New York City. We were dying from AIDS, and we were being ignored by government leaders. We were being laughed at. We were being stigmatized for our suffering and in our suffering. And so our founders created what didn't exist. And that was a place for the loss we were experiencing to become legacy, for people to organize, for people to put their money and show up and give their time to actually change the course of what is now our history. And so this year, we actually celebrate the 30th year of our official IRS-sanctioned founding in 1990, when we gave our very first grant. And that work has continued over the decades. We've seen the community in New York City go from about 30 organizations, LGBTQ nonprofits, to over 400. And we have funded most of them and more than 600 organizations to date. So it's a pretty big year for us, but all of that goes back to our origin story of trying to survive a crisis.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I love what you said there with the love as a practice. I've never heard that. And I think it's really powerful to say. I know that when we got together on our collaboration that we're going to talk about next, we kind of looked on what was going on in the world, and all of these great events, these festivities that normally happen during the month of June, were not going to happen. So, I'd love, for you to tell the community and talk a little bit about this collaboration that we got going. This is our first year, but as we talked about, this is going to be an ongoing thing every year for Playing for Pride.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So this year in particular, I think we're seeing a lot of really creative partnerships form. And we're seeing a lot of creativity, right? I think stress compels resilience. Resilience is about adapting to stress, right? And challenges. And we're certainly facing those all together, right? Like we're all in this storm. And I think a lot of people are showing tremendous creativity and resourcefulness. And so this partnership we have with Virtual Motion is exciting because it's a frontier for us, but one that makes all the sense in the world. The gaming community is one that is incredibly diverse, one that I think very naturally is a space for inclusion, and one that understands joy and fun and play. And so for us, this is a first-time venture to be part of a tournament that celebrates gamers and celebrates the space, the digital space and community that reaches across this globe, right, and includes so many LGBTQ people, and also gives a chance for allies to show up and celebrate us too during Pride. And we don't have the opportunity, as we're used to having for 50 years now, to come together and protest in person and party in person and express ourselves in person. And so it's kind of beautiful that we've found a way and a partner in you all to create an opportunity, an alternative opportunity for people to celebrate Pride.
Well, we are very humbled and so excited to be partnering with you. Inclusion has been one of the main pillars of Ritual Motion from day one. So we're really excited about it. We are going to have donation buttons on our website. We'll have a donation button right below on this that folks can see. People can go into Smash GG, search Gaming for Pride. There they can sign up. It is a free tournament, which is great because we want the masses to show. Prize pool is already at $1,000 for the prize pool, which is exciting. And we're asking people just to make donations. Come enjoy the community, have a lot of fun. It will be a 2-day event, and just make the donations and just be part of the community. And Jarrett, well, once again, for myself and for the Ritual Motion family and community, I want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time. I know how busy you are to take the time to come on today and talk about this.
Yeah, happy to be here and really honored to be partnering with you all and newly connected to the Ritual Motion family. So thank you.
And thank you for now the term that I'll be using a lot of, and that is love is a practice. So I really appreciate that. I hope you're well, and we'll be connecting soon. Thank you, Jared.
Otherwise, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks. Everyone, wow, once again, I can't thank enough Jared from the Stonewall Foundation for being on RMTV this week. We are so excited to be part of this group for Gaming for Pride. Once again, I have my Gaming for Pride skins on that you can get at our shop. We're really excited about it. And right now, we have Jamie. Jamie, I know you got some really great updates. I know there's some stuff going on with Blizzard, and apparently there's no BlizzardCon anymore going on this year. And I know there's some more Call of Duty things going on.
Yeah, we got some interesting stuff, but first I just wanted to say thank you to Jarrett. Thank you for all the work that you do with the Stonewall Foundation. It's truly incredible, today and this time in the world, we all need inclusion, and your efforts to make everyone know that they truly belong and have a place is truly amazing. So thank you for all that you do. And don't forget, go to Smash GG. We do have a big Play for Pride event. Let's start with that. You can compete in a Smash Brothers tournament against some of the best competition in the world. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, and Jamie, with that, right now the prize pool is $1,000. So it's going to probably go up from there. So it's exciting. We got the best players in the world who've already signed up. So absolutely.
That's awesome. Again, definitely check that out. So let's jump into it. Blizzard Entertainment usually has an event called the BlizzCon. BlizzCon 2020 was canceled. And it's just an event to celebrate their games like World of Warcraft, StarCraft, and Overwatch. So they, were very apologetic for canceling their event, but, due to the pandemic, they kind of had to take precautions and decided that the event wasn't going to be able to happen.
Jamie, have you heard from any other folks like TwitchCon and all these other big kind of events that go on, even Comic-Con? Have you heard anything or any whispering about are those events going to take place, or are they just going to kind of scrap it for this year?
I haven't really heard a lot. The the BlizzCon event was the first one that I saw that was being canceled. I know a lot of these, events are just being kind of postponed right now with everything else, and they're going to try to fit in as much as they can towards the end of the year. But I think, depending on logistics and the accommodations and having all the people in one place, I have a gut feeling that maybe some of the other, like you said, the Twitch conventions or Comic-Con may kind of follow suit with BlizzCon and have to cancel their events.
What else is happening?
So the Clash Royale, I don't know if you ever heard of Clash Royale. I'm a pretty big fan of Clash Royale. It's the sibling game to Clash of Clans, mobile game. So their Clash Royale League West is underway with a $300,000 prize pool in online format.
That is pretty awesome. It's interesting to see these prize pools getting larger and larger.
Yeah, and I feel like they're only going to grow. Like we always talk about, esports is the next big thing, and the more tournaments and the more people get involved and the more esports is around, I think the prize pools are just going to get bigger and bigger.
That's awesome.
Last but not least, we're back to Call of Duty. Call of Duty is partnering up with TeamSpeak in a 3-year deal. They claim that, or the Call of Duty League claims that TeamSpeak has the best broadcasting software when it comes to communication capabilities, kind of just to keep their players ahead of the game. So it's big for TeamSpeak, but it's big for Call of Duty too, to have the best of the best.
Yeah, I saw that. That's going to be a really interesting matchup, and I guess time's going to tell, right? Does TeamSpeak really do have the best technology out there? I'm excited. I'm a huge Call of Duty fan, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how this plays out.
I agree. I think it will be very interesting, but I think if the Call of Duty League is saying they're pretty good, I'd have to take their word for it.
Yeah, I would agree. Do you have anything else, Jamie, for this week?
That's it. That's all we have.
All right, Jamie. Well, as always, I want to thank you for your updates. Once again, I do want to thank Jared and Stonewall Foundation and everything that they do. Please check out the Smash GG site. Check out Playing for Pride. You can go on our site. Like I said, we do have Playing for Pride merchandise. We have skins. We have hoodies. We have shirts, and proceeds are going to the Stonewall Foundation. As always, be well and peace.